Okay, now look, we were doing trying to understand a different type of the research methodologies, and we did two different type of researches from quantitative research approaches or quantitative research methodologies. One was experimental research and the other was correlational research. First of all, what we did, we tried to understand the characteristics of these two different qualitative and quantitative research methodologies, and when we fully understood the characteristics of characteristics in nature in the process of doing qualitative and quantitative research, we for better understanding choose two different approaches or two different type of researches from quantitative research, so that we can better understand that how we can do quantitative researches with the help of understanding experimental research and then correlational research. Now we have selected two researches from qualitative area, qualitative research methodologies, so that we can understand the nature that how researches are being done or how they are carried out, or how the process of qualitative researches is and how that is different from quantitative researches. This can be understood by doing or by understanding type of qualitative research. So that's why, for the purpose of clarification and for the purpose of better understanding of qualitative researches, I have selected ethnographic research. Now this ethnographic research is in fact qualitative research, and this type of the research is okay. Now as you come and join, it becomes difficult for me to admit all of you again and again. Okay, now ethnographic research. What is this ethnographic research? Today's lecture is quite little bit more lengthy. Why? Because to understand the nature of ethnographic research and the definition of the research, the process of doing ethnographic research, and the different type of the methods which are used in ethnographic research, they all are the focus of today's lecture. So we are starting with understanding ethnographic research. Now what is this research? Like, ethnographic research is a qualitative method where researchers observe and or interact with the studies participants in their real life environments. Means what happens here, that in ethnographic research, researchers try to understand participants in their real life environments. This is what is the meaning of this qualitative research methodology. That what happens in ethnographic research, which is a qualitative research type, researchers observe and they also interact with the study participants in their real life environments. And ethnography was popularized by anthropology, but now it was popularized by the anthropology, but now it is used across a wide range of social sciences. It means now this is used in sociology, this is used in psychology, this is used in cultural psychology, cross-cultural psychology, and it is there are different type of the methods of doing ethnography in different fields. That today we will also discuss those things. But first, the simplest definition was that this is what ethnography is. What ethnography is, the understanding of participants' own understanding of their beliefs or their what their viewpoints are. So if we want to understand further that what is ethnography, now ethnography is a word from Greek, and this is a Greek word within which ethnos means folk, like people, like nation. In graphos, I write. It means that it's a branch of anthropology and the systematic study of the individuals In contrast with ethnology, what happens in ethnology? There's sometimes what we do, we mix ethnography and ethnology. So ethnology and ethnography are different. In contrast with ethnology, what happens in ethnography, we don't have to understand ethnology. We just start focusing on ethnography, where ethnos, it means folk, it means people, it means different group of peoples, and we write about them, we talk about them, we observe them. So ethnography explores cultural phenomena from the point of view of the subjects of the study. That now this is not the researcher who understands or put a type of a research, but the researcher is only the observer. The researcher will observe the participants of the study from the perspective of the participants of the study. Like the subjects are important. Subjects, what subjects are thinking about any type of a phenomena which the researcher wants to study and to understand, this is given importance. Okay, ethnography is also a type of social research. This is called social research. Why? Because it involves the examination of the behavior of participants in a given social situation and understanding the group members' own interpretation of such behavior. Like in a social situation, this study is carried out, and the researcher will understand that social behavior or the different type of the behavior from the participants' perspective, participants of the study, participants where the researcher has went in to understand some particular type of a behavior. What happens now further, if we come further for further understanding, as form of inquiry, what happens that ethnography relies heavily on what? On subjective interpretation, on the researcher's participation in the setting or with the people being studied, at least in some marginal role, and seeking to document in detail patterns of social interaction and the perspectives of the participants, and to understand these in their local context. Like a form of, this is a form of inquiry where the researcher is participant observer. He participates in that situation and observe the behavior and observe in the people within that situation, and at least in some marginal role, means he just do not play his any kind of a role. He just, what he do, he document in detail patterns of social interactions and the perspectives of the participants, and to understand these in their social local context. इथनोग्राफी में जब क्या हम करते हैं, जो रिसर्चर है वो डिफरेंट तरह के प्रोसीजर्स यूज करते हुए, यानी वो उस बिहेवियर को स्टडी करेगा जो कि उसने रिसर्च में अपना एक रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम बना के रखा हुआ है, लेकिन उस रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम को वो किस तरह से अंडरस्टैंड करता है, वो लोगों के रेफरेंसेस से अंडरस्टैंड करेगा कि वहाँ के जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, जिस कम्युनिटी में वो गया हुआ है, जिस एरिया में वो गया हुआ है, जिस पर्टिकुलर कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में वो उस चीज को, बिहेवियर को अंडरस्टैंड करना चाह रहा है, जो कि उसका रिसर्च का जो है वो रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम है, उसको वो अंडरस्टैंड करेगा। और उसका पर्पस क्या होगा, वो खुद कोई मेजर रोल नहीं प्ले कर रहा होगा, उसको कोई भी किसी भी तरह से उसका रोल क्या है कि वो पार्टिसिपेंट ऑब्जर्वर हो सकता है, वो उनके साथ पार्टिसिपेट करता है, अंडरस्टैंड करता है और लोकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट में। एंड ये क्यों कर रहा होता है वो, क्योंकि वो समझता है कि वो बिहेवियर, मैम आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही, मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही?
मैम आ रही है,
तो
मैम आ रही है।
तो तूबा कह रही है कि मैडम आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है। तो तूबा, अगर आपको नहीं आ रही है तो अब ये आप खुद अपने उसको सिस्टम को चेक कीजिएगा, क्योंकि बाकी बच्चों को तो मेरी आवाजें आ रही हैं। ठीक है, अब बीच में क्वेश्चन नहीं है प्लीज, क्योंकि ये दिस इज ऑन चल रहा है क्लास, ठीक है, एंड में हम क्वेश्चंस रखेंगे। इट हैड इट्स ओरिजिन इन सोशल एंड कल्चरल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी in the early 20th century, but spread to other social science disciplines, notably sociology, especially during the course of that century. It means that anthropology was introduced in the start of 20th century, but as what in social sciences, but now especially in sociology, but now this is used in different fields of social sciences. Anthropology is a major type of a qualitative research. So qualitative researches can be used in different type of field of studies, especially in social sciences, where the sociology is there, where the social psychology is there, anthropology is there, different type of fields of social sciences are there. Ethnography is a set of qualitative methods. This is the simplest again and again, because this is something like understanding of ethnography. We are not doing this research. We are just trying to understand that what would be the nature of this qualitative research methods. That when we were doing quantitative method, there was like the researcher was not like only participant observer. The researcher was what the major main important person, and the total like a methodology and the reasoning is different in quantitative researches, but when we come to understanding of qualitative researches, they are completely different. And this is an example of qualitative research methods. So ethnography is a set of qualitative methods that are used in social sciences that focus on the observation of social practices and interactions. Whatever the different type of the social practices are, the interactions are, they are the focus of ethnography. And its aim is to observe a situation without imposing any deductive structure or framework upon it, and to view everything as strange or unique. It means that within qualitative researches, deductive reasoning is not used, inductive reasoning is used. We understand from the perspectives of the people, and then we make a theory rather than we go for testing of the theory, which happens in deductive reasoning. So the researcher does not impose any type of a thing about the subjects or the situations where they have went to study something. But what happens here, that researchers observe that thing as a unique or strange thing. What are the key elements of ethnographic research? Now, this is very important to understand that these are the key elements of ethnographic research. What are the key elements of ethnographic research are? Ethnographic research entails, first of all, an interest in cultures, cultural understanding, and meaning making. Then second, looking at the culture from the inside with Emic perspective. And third, being attentive to language practices. And four, being close to the field and collecting first-hand experience. Now we are coming again to the ethnographic research entails. What does it will entail? What does it will do? An interest in cultures. Ethnographic research purpose is interest in cultures. There are different type of the cultures and cultural understanding and the meaning which about different type of the behaviors is in within their particular type of the culture. So what the ethnographic researcher will do, that person who is a researcher will look at the culture from the inside with the Emic perspective. If you have not studied cross-cultural psychology, the students of cross-cultural psychology are well aware of the concept about Emic and Etic perspective. There are two type of perspectives which are used in cultural and cross-cultural psychology or cultural studies. One is Emic and other one is Etic. For example, if we are the psychologist and we want to understand any cultural practice, any type of a behavior within particular type of a culture, if we are studying that culture within that culture from the understandings of about the behavior which prevail in that culture, it means that you are using inside or Emic perspective. Emic, which is your own, it means that which is within the culture. और इटिक जो है वो क्या होता है, इटिक होता है फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, लेकिन आपके पास दूसरी क्या एक्सप्लेनेशंस हैं जो आपका पर्सपेक्टिव नहीं है, उसके हवाले से जब आप उसको अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हो. इमिक और इटिक, इस तरह से ये दो पर्सपेक्टिव होते हैं। तो जो इथनोग्राफी है उसमें क्या होगा, हम कल्चर को एज अ रिसर्चर अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं फ्रॉम इनसाइड, यानी जिस कल्चर में आप हैं उसी के लोगों से, वहां पे ही प्रीवेलिंग जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग्स है उससे हम उसको अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं, ठीक है। बीइंग अटेंटिव टू लैंग्वेज प्रैक्टिसेस, इट मींस दैट ethnographic researchers and researchers are very much interested to understand the languages, the language perspectives, language practices and their use. And then third, being close to the field and collect first-hand experience. This means that qualitative this qualitative type of a research do not make the use of secondary data, when we use the word first-hand, it is against the secondary data. It means that collecting first-hand information which you can have within the field. Being close to the field, field means area, फील्ड मीन्स पर्टिकुलर कल्चर, फील्ड मीन्स कोई जो, अगर आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कोई स्टडी करना चाहते हो, उसका कल्चर कोई स्टडी करना चाहते हैं, वो भी इथनोग्राफिक रिसर्च होगी। और उसमें फिर आप क्या करेंगे, फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस आपके पास क्या है, कलेक्टिंग फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस जो रियल होगा, जिसमें कोई पहले से मौजूद कोई एक्सप्लेनेशंस नहीं होंगी, ठीक है। Ethnographer seeks to gain in Emic perspective or the native point of view. This is native means yours own, आपकी अपनी जो point of view है, native जो वहाँ भी है, जो बिल्कुल जैसे क्या कहना चाहिए कि उस कल्चर की अपनी एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी, आप स्पेसिफिक कल्चर। दिस मीन्स, इसका मतलब क्या है, यहाँ मैंने लिखा हुआ है, अब ये देख सकते हो। दिस मीन्स दैट दे ट्राई टू लुक एट द कल्चर under study from inside through the meaning that the members of that culture live with, जो मीनिंग मेंबर्स के पास वहां पे है उसी मीनिंग को अंडरस्टैंड करते हुए आप उस कल्चर को अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं नेटिव पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। Therefore, ethnographers avoid imposing conceptual and theoretical frameworks on empirical data at the beginning of the research process. At the research process, we start in quantitative researches. What the researchers do you know that in quantitative researches, the researchers always have some kind of theoretical explanations with them for understanding the behaviors or the variables which they want to study in their researches. But what happens in qualitative researches, especially in ethnography and mostly almost in all type of qualitative researches, that ethnographers avoid imposing conceptual and theoretical frameworks on empirical data. The data which they have gathered on the basis of their observations and experiences at the beginning of the research process, they do not apply any kind of a theoretical framework. Ethnography exists, different types of ethnographies or different forms of ethnography like this is, and ethnography exists in many forms. What happens in ethnography, that there are different type of ethnographies. When we say ethnography, it doesn't mean that we are saying that the only one type of ethnographic research is. No, there are different type of ethnographic researches are. And what type of different ethnographic researches are? Like, first of all, before going to the types, we are reading this slide, okay? Ethnography exists in many forms, and ethnographers continuously debate about what counts as ethnography and how to represent the field. For example, there is a history of ethnography, and there is a long introduction of ethnography. And there is a great explanation about the processes of doing ethnographic research. But because we have a limited time and because of understanding ethnography, we are not just right now, we are not doing practically ethnography, but we are trying to understand that how, first of all, we are just studying that this is ethnography. We are trying to understand, that's why I have just put the explanation. Now, ethnography exists in many forms, and ethnographers continuously debate about what counts as ethnography and how to represent the field. There are different type of ethnographies. That's why the ethnographers जो है वो ये डिबेट कर रहे होते हैं कि आप इथनोग्राफी जो है वो किसको कहते हो और उसकी कितनी टाइप्स हैं. एज अ रिजल्ट there are distinct versions of ethnography. There are different versions, there are different types of ethnographies, and ethnographic research that have their own epistemological backgrounds and varied research practices. It means के बहुत सारे ethnography के versions हैं और उसका अपना एक logical reasoning है, उसके अपनी practical field में जो जहाँ जहाँ use होती है उसकी वजह से भी उसकी जो है वो different meaning रखी गई है. This is why if you plan to do it, means this is very important for us, for students of research methodology, to understand that if we want to plan to do an ethnographic research, ethnographic study, what is needed, what is more necessary for us to do, you will need to specify what kind of ethnographic research you wish to perform. It means there are different type of ethnographic researches, like there are different type of there are different type of quantitative researches, there are different type of qualitative researches. Within experimental research, which is quantitative research, there are different type of and many type of doing experimental researches. Similarly, there are different type of doing ethnographic research. It is just simple कि जिस तरह से हम experimental research करते हैं ना, तो experimental research को तो हमने समझ लिया, लेकिन जब हम उसकी types में जाएंगे तो फिर वो experimental research बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है. जब हम quasi experimental research में जाते हैं तो their types are again there are various types of quasi experimental researches. So similarly there are different type of ethnographic researches. Ethnography is just like a perspective. Ethnography is a way of understanding the behaviors. That's why there are different type of ethnographic researches. Now look, what can be the types of ethnographic research? Simply, there is critical ethnography, feminist ethnography, auto ethnography, virtual ethnography, or ethnography, business related ethnography. These are some of the type of ethnographic researches which I have just have introduced to you, like critical ethnography, which is based on some type of theoretical explanation in health. Feminist ethnography would again be developed on or based on the feminist theory. Auto ethnography, auto means the researcher's own understanding and analysis of would be also given importance. Virtual ethnography or netno ethnography. Now look, netno ethnography and virtual, it means that because of the excessive use of social media and different type of social like media, वेब जो उसके मीडियम्स होते हैं, हम इथनोग्राफी हम इस तरह से भी करते हैं कि उसमें जो नेट के ऊपर जो अगर आप सोशल ग्रुप्स जो बने हुए हैं उनको अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहें. Business related ethnography is a type of ethnography where what happens that if you want to understand any particular type of business community, want to understand in particular business organization, then that ethnography would be called business related ethnography. Okay, so now look, critical ethnographies and feminist ethnographies are examples of theoretical understandings. They would rely on the principles of critical understanding, and feminist theory, both these three types I have explained to you, how that these would be based on some type of principles of relying on the principles of critical theory. Theories would be there, they would help us theoretically informed approaches. उसके ऊपर हम कुछ examples होते हैं उनको भी हम लेते हैं और उनके ऊपर भी हम जो है वो एक ethnographic researches conduct करते हैं. और auto ethnography जिसमें के रिसर्चर जो है उसके अपने पर्सनल एंड रिफ्लेक्टिव पर्सपेक्टिव जो है वो भी इंक्लूड हो जाता है एनालिसिस में. जो कि इंफॉर्मेशन आप लेते हो उसके एनालिसिस में जब ऑटो इथनोग्राफी होती है तो मींस के एक ऐसी इथनोग्राफी में जिसमें के रिसर्चर अगर खुद भी इन्वॉल्व हो रहा है उसकी जो पर्सपेक्टिव है वो भी इम्पोर्टेंस रख रहे हैं, उसकी रिफ्लेक्शंस जो है वो भी, तो फिर उसको क्या कहा जाएगा, ऑटो इथनोग्राफी कहा जाता है। नाउ व्हाट इज जो नेटनो इथनोग्राफी था, व्हाट वाज दिस नेटनो इथनोग्राफी? Because what is this, now we are coming to the virtual ethnography. Virtual ethnography किसको कहा जाता है? टाइम जो है, are you listening? 424 students are there. बेटा आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके ठीक है। अब यहाँ पे मुझे एक जो इंडिकेशन हो रही है बार बार कि आपकी टाइम जो है वो आउट हो रही है। आप थोड़ा सा वेट कीजिएगा, जैसे ही ये टाइम आउट होगा तो आई विल शेयर यू एन अदर शेड्यूल, और प्लीज वेट कीजिएगा, ठीक है, ताकि हम इसको कंप्लीट कर जाएं। अब एक्सपेंशन ऑफ द इंटरनेट की वजह से या सोशल मीडिया की वजह से क्या हो रहा है, रिसर्चर्स परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं वर्चुअल इथनोग्राफी या नेटनो इथनोग्राफी। वर्चुअल इथनोग्राफी में क्या होता है, अगर आप यहाँ से देख सकें, now virtual ethnography rests on the argument that the ethnographers should experience the social life of the research subjects regardless of how those experiences are mediated. Like when you do ethnography जिसको virtual कहा जाएगा, so it will rest on the argument that the ethnographer, it means the researcher, should experience the social life of research subjects. जो subjects आप ले रहे हो research के, जो के relevant होंगे किसके साथ में, सोशल उसके मीडिया के यूज वाले सब्जेक्ट्स जो होंगे उनसे, रिगार्डलेस ऑफ हाउ दोज एक्सपीरियंसेस आर मेडिएटेड। ये नहीं देखा जाएगा कि वो एक्सपीरियंसेस किस तरह से शो कर रहे हैं, उनको मेडिएट कैसे किया जाता है। रिलेटेड टू दिस इथनोग्राफी कैन बी रिलेटेड, यानी जो एक्सप्लेनेशन अभी मैंने आपको दी है उसे हम ये अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं कि इथनोग्राफी ग्लोबल हो सकती है और मल्टी साइटेड हो सकती है, मोबाइल हो सकती है, इन द सेंस किस लिए, रिसर्चर फॉलो पीपल अराउंड फिजिकल एंड वर्चुअल प्लेसेस। यानी रिसर्चर जो है वो अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए, जो हम ये कहें कि वो फिजिकल एक जगह पे जाते हैं, जाएंगे, ये कोई जरूरी नहीं है, बल्कि क्या होगा, रिसर्चर्स जो है वो इस तरह से भी कर सकते हैं कि वो वर्चुअली जो है वो इथनोग्राफी को कंडक्ट करें। दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्लाइड। अब इसमें क्या है, ये एक मिनट थोड़ा सा क्लियर, गाइडलाइंस क्या होंगी, हम अगर उसको अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहें, अगर हम कुछ लाइन में, अगर फॉर एग्जांपल हम इथनोग्राफिक रिसर्च को हम एक अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहते हैं तो हमारे पास क्या होंगे, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कलेक्ट अ वैरायटी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव्स एंड डिफरेंट सोर्सेज। इफ यू वांट टू कंडक्ट इथनोग्राफिक रिसर्च, what is necessary, that collect information from different perspectives and different sources, use observation, method of observation, method of open-ended interviews, and site documentation, as well as audio and visual materials। जिस तरह से रिकॉर्डिंग्स होती हैं, फोटोग्राफ्स होते हैं, ये हमें क्या बता रही हैं, हमें बता रहे हैं कि आप वेराइटी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को कलेक्ट करें डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव से एंड डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से। उसके बाद में जो मेथड्स हैं विच आर यूज्ड इन qualitative type of research which is ethnographic research, उसमें क्या होगा, ऑब्जर्वेशन का मेथड है, ओपन इंटरव्यू का मेथड है, साइट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन का मेथड है, ऑडियो विजुअल मटेरियल्स हैं, रिकॉर्डिंग्स हैं, फोटोग्राफ्स हैं, all these can be used. And the third one is write field notes that are descriptive and rich in detail. Descriptive तो आपको पता है कि यहाँ पे in depth understanding है, holistic approach use होती है qualitative researches में, तो आपके पास rich descriptive जो है वो डिटेल होती है। represent participants in their own terms by using quotations and short stories, like participants within qualitative research, within ethnography, they can write their views in different type of forms, in different form, writing form, stories के form में, quotations के form में, represent participants in their own terms by using quotations and short stories, and capture participants' view of their own experiences in their own words. Within qualitative researches, subjects are given importance. Subjects means the participants. their perceptions, their understandings, their culture, their communities, their organizations. There it means you want to understand the behavior from participants' perspective, and then you do qualitative researches. Ethnography is one of them. If you have any question, so you can ask me the question. Please, if you have any question, आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हो. और दूसरा, मैंने आपको YouTube चैनल जो है वो आपको सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए कहा है. आप जब उसको सब्सक्राइब करेंगे तो वो वहां से भी आपको ये सारे लेक्चर्स मिलेंगे, और आपको LMS पे भी मैंने अपलोड कर दिए हैं. वहां पे जाके भी आप उसको अपलोड कर सकते हो. आप वहां पे जाके भी उसको ले सकते हैं. ठीक है?
ओके मैम.
यस मैम.
ठीक है. अगर कोई क्वेश्चन हो तो आप मुझसे पूछो. और आप अभी भी, आप जैसे ये मैं अपलोड करूंगी ना, तो आप जैसे जाएंगे आप वहाँ पे YouTube चैनल के ऊपर, तो वो आपको वहां से मिल जाएगा, अगर आपने वहां वो सब्सक्राइब किया हुआ है तो. सही है बेटा. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन, आप मुझसे बिल्कुल पूछें, अभी आपके पास टाइम है. डू यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन? हेलो.
नो मैम.
नो. ओके. सो वी आर टुडे, ये आपका जो इस वीक के है उस हिसाब से ये लास्ट लेक्चर है. और अभी जो है मैं इसको मीटिंग को जो है वो एंड कर रही हूँ. ठीक है? तो थैंक यू सो मच. अल्लाह हाफिज.
थैंक यू मैम. अल्लाह हाफिज.
ओके मैम.
अब जो आप पहले में बात